In his garage, Charlie is busy fixing up a small plane, his birthday gift from his wife, Sarah. She interrupts to say she's heading to London for a business conference and invites him along, but Charlie declines, saying he's buried in work. Later, Charlie arrives at CIA headquarters and walks through several high-tech security scanners, systems he actually designed himself. He finally reaches the decryption and analysis department and gets to work. Suddenly, he receives a message from an old anonymous contact named Inquiline. They've been exchanging classified intel for years. This time, Inquiline warns him that the documents they're sending could seriously endanger the CIA. Charlie tries to guess where they are, maybe Istanbul, but Inquiline doesn't answer. Charlie begins analyzing the files, but even with his skills, the code stumps him. After a quick lunch, Charlie returns to his office and takes a call from Sarah, now in London. He already knew he's been tracking her. Their call is brief. His mind is locked on the files. Since he's getting nowhere, he brings his computer to a restricted lab with more advanced tools. Eventually, he breaks through the encryption, and what he finds shocks him. The files reveal a top-secret drone strike, disguised as a suicide bombing, authorized and later covered up by the CIA. News clips show 150 deaths, including elite French and Danish soldiers. The entire operation was ordered by Charlie's boss, Chief Moore. That night, Charlie tries to call Sarah, but she doesn't pick up. The next day, Moore meets him at work and takes him to Director O'Brien. She delivers devastating news. There's been a terrorist attack at a London hotel, and Sarah was one of the victims. Charlie refuses to believe it, so Moore turns on the TV. The report shows for armed men storming the hotel, killing 2 hostages, and taking 4 others. Security footage confirms Sarah was among them. Back home, Charlie is swarmed by reporters, but a friend sneaks him inside. Still reeling, he confronts Moore and Supervisor Caleb the next day. He can't accept that the terrorists bypassed London's tight surveillance. Moore insists they're investigating, but Caleb orders him to take time off. When Sarah's body and luggage arrive at the airport, Charlie brings them home. Inside her suitcase, he finds a gift she'd bought for him and breaks down. Needing answers, Charlie returns to work and hacks into the hotel surveillance network. He pieces together a timeline and presents it to his superiors. The 4 suspects stole a van, entered the hotel through the service entrance, wiped all traces, and were supposedly meeting with a group from Indonesia. A heated argument broke out, a bodyguard tried to intervene, and one terrorist opened fire, killing 1 guard and seriously injuring another. Security responded quickly, and the attackers, cornered, took hostages in a nearby conference room. Sarah was captured while helping others escape. Using facial recognition and voice tracking, Charlie identifies all 4 attackers: Mishka from Moscow, ex-South African operative Lawrence, mercenary Horst, and former intel officer Gretchen. But Moore and Caleb don't react. That's when Charlie realizes they already knew. They send him to a therapist. The next day, Charlie discreetly hides a chip in his badge and smuggles out classified files using a skimmer on the printer. That night, he sits alone at a bar, staring blankly at a jukebox. The next morning, Charlie storms into a meeting with his superiors, armed with the stolen documents. He calls out Moore's dirty operations, like the bombing of a Syrian hospital and an allied base in Yemen, which killed thousands. He reveals he's triggered a dead man switch. If he doesn't input a code every 5 hours, all the evidence will be sent to top news agencies. In exchange for silence, Charlie demands full CIA training, cash, a gun, fake IDs, and every piece of intel on the people who killed his wife. After the meeting, Charlie returns to his car and throws up from the stress. Back at the office, Moore claims the dead man switch is fake, but Caleb warns they can't take the risk. If it's a bluff, they'll find the trigger and make Charlie disappear during training. Later, Caleb's team investigates how Charlie copied the files. They consider a skimmer useless on secure computers, but not on printers. They suspect Charlie printed the documents and used a magnetic strip to clone the data. Reviewing security footage, they confirm he bought such a strip, though how he smuggled it in and out remains unclear. They also search Charlie's home and notice he visited the same bar twice. At the bar, they check the jukebox and find an ABBA CD. When Caleb plays it, it's just static. They retrieve the CD Charlie planted. Meanwhile, Charlie arrives at a CIA training facility, greeted by Colonel Henderson. They start at the shooting range, but Charlie's aim is poor. He needs to get very close to hit the target. However, when it comes to building explosives, he's brilliant, quickly earning Henderson's respect. Next, Charlie trains to memorize his new identity. Henderson roughs him up to test how well he can recall the details under pressure. Once training wraps up, Charlie receives fake passports. That night, Henderson visits Charlie's room. He tells him he's not a killer, but Charlie insists he wants justice. Henderson hands him a gun, asking him to aim. Charlie's hands tremble, and he lowers the weapon. Back at the agency, analysts finally decrypt the CD and confirm Charlie was bluffing about the dead man switch. They rush to report it, unaware Charlie is spying on them. The chip in his ID badge was actually a bug. He planted it on the documents. Moore discovers it too late and calls Henderson to arrest him. But Charlie's already gone. Charlie removes his earpiece and boards a flight to London. Once he clears customs, he heads to Paris. His fake passport triggers a CIA alert, so Moore dispatches Henderson to track him. In Paris, Charlie checks into a hotel near a restaurant Gretchen frequents. When she shows up, he starts tracking her phone. Later, he stakes out her building and sneaks in once a tenant leaves. Following a tutorial, he picks her apartment lock, searches her place, and snaps photos of her schedule. He also finds a gun and takes it. Just then, his tracker warns, Gretchen is on her way back. Charlie hides near the stairs, but when she enters, he can't pull the trigger. Shaken, he retreats to his hotel and imagines Sarah waiting for him. Trying to refocus, he reviews Gretchen's schedule and notices frequent hospital visits. A health records hack shows she has severe allergies. The next morning, Charlie buys a ton of flowers and follows her to the hospital. Disguised as a doctor, he sneaks into her testing room, locks her in a machine, and floods it with pollen. Gretchen panics, but Charlie calmly demands Horst's location, the man who killed Sarah. She struggles to speak through her allergy attack, so Charlie opens the chamber. Gretchen immediately shoves him into a desk. A fierce fight breaks out, crashing into equipment and furniture. Charlie pulls his gun, but she knocks him down and escapes. He chases her into the street, but before he can shoot, a car slams into her. Shocked, Charlie forces himself to grab her phone and runs off, ditching his lab coat. Back at the hotel, he washes off the blood and packs. That night, he boards a bus to Marseilles. Soon after, word of Gretchen's death reaches the CIA. Director O'Brien questions Moore, who quietly admits it seems she was killed by one of their own. That night, Charlie drowns his guilt over Gretchen's death with drinks at a bar. He briefly thinks he sees Sarah dancing, but it's just someone who looks like her. Then he spots Henderson entering and panics. He pushes through the crowd, escapes to another bar, but Henderson follows. Charlie hides in the bathroom, but with no windows, escape is impossible. He eventually walks out and sits beside Henderson, who admits he tracked Charlie using Gretchen's phone. After a tense exchange, Charlie shows him a timer on his phone, then bolts. Moments later, a bomb detonates in the bathroom, causing chaos. Henderson loses him in the crowd, and Charlie's tracker goes dark. The next morning, Charlie contacts Inquiline for help and hops on a cargo plane to Turkey. In Istanbul, he texts her from a restaurant. When he tries to approach a man whose phone rings, a woman intercepts him, telling him to check his own phone, Sarah. To stay unnoticed, she tells Charlie to ditch his backpack and hat, pretend to shop, and meet her later at a garage. When they reunite, she drives him to her home. During the trip, she explains how she became a hacker after her husband, a CIA asset working with Russian intel, was killed. Officially, he fell from a window, but she suspects otherwise. He was the original Inquiline and taught her everything. At her home, the longest she's ever stayed in one place, she confesses she's tired of running. If the Russians ever catch her, she's ready to end it herself. They start going over leads. Horst recruits mercenaries for more. Lawrence deals in weapons, so Inquiline offers to pose as an arms dealer to bait him. Mishka, meanwhile, travels often and posts everything online. One photo shows a woman beside him. Facial recognition leads them to her Instagram. She's in Spain. Elsewhere, Caleb tells his team to track the terrorists to locate Charlie. Meanwhile, Director O'Brien confronts Moore about unauthorized black ops. He brushes it off, saying she's not the first director to complain, and like always, she has his full support. Later, O'Brien's assistant shows her a picture Henderson spotted in Spain. It's clear Moore sent him, so O'Brien deploys her own agent to intervene. Back in Madrid, Charlie and Inquiline locate Mishka via hacked hotel cameras. Charlie checks into the same hotel, learning that Mishka often swims in the rooftop pool that connects two buildings. At the same time, Henderson starts closing in. The next day, Charlie builds a device and hides it in the hotel. That night, he tails Mishka to a bar, unaware Henderson's watching from the lobby. Charlie notices a suspicious man and realizes he's seen him before, CIA. He alerts Inquiline via earpiece. She confirms the man's identity and also spots Henderson on surveillance, warning Charlie to abort. But he insists on following through. When Mishka heads to the pool, Charlie confronts him and demands Horst's location. If Mishka refuses, the pool will collapse. Mishka laughs it off and swims away, so Charlie triggers the device. The glass begins to crack. Mishka tries to escape, but it shatters, and he plummets with the water to his death. Immediately, Inquiline warns that agents are closing in. She guides Charlie toward an exit. Henderson nearly catches him, but the second agent intervenes. The two agents clash in a brutal fight inside the laundry room, smashing each other against machines. The second agent draws a gun and shoots Henderson, but Henderson overpowers him and returns fire. Charlie arrives just in time to witness the fight. He hesitates, unsure if he should help, but Inquiline urges him to run. The next day, O'Brien brings Moore into her office and questions him about Charlie. He claims Charlie's still on bereavement leave. She lets him go, but later, she reviews hotel surveillance footage. At the same time, Caleb's team analyzes the same footage and realizes Charlie had help. They dig into his encrypted communications and finally uncover messages from Inquiline. After a long search, finally uncover a file on the original Inquiline, a deceased CIA agent. Realizing his wife likely took his place, the mystery deepens. That night, they sleep side by side for comfort, but Inquiline's birds suddenly screech, waking them. On the security cameras, they spot agents closing in. They escape through a hidden tunnel and spot a drone in the sky as they sneak into another building. Just as agents storm the house, they slip away. All the files are already being erased, leaving nothing behind. Reaching the beach, they make it to Inquiline's car, but the drone sees them. A high-speed chase follows, even by boat. The agents eventually hit the car, and Inquiline is gravely wounded. Charlie moves her body to the passenger seat and takes the wheel, losing the pursuers after a desperate drive. He hides the car in a garage and tearfully kisses her goodbye. The next day, Charlie poses as an arms dealer to contact Lawrence and sets up a meeting. He buys new gear and heads to Romania. There, he records a fake video of himself and hacks into Berlin's surveillance feed, tricking the CIA into thinking he's there. When Lawrence arrives, he finds a phone ringing on a chair. Charlie tells him to check the box next to it. Inside are explosives, and a photo of Sarah. Charlie appears behind him, demanding Horst's location and promising to disable the bombs if he talks. Lawrence admits Horst operates in Russian waters, usually receiving shipments at a Baltic port. Communication only happens through secret codes carried by his men. Lawrence tosses his phone to the floor. Everything's inside. Charlie grabs it and walks out. Moments later, the bombs go off, killing Lawrence. The CIA, watching the fake Berlin footage, is shocked to learn the real attack was in Romania. Later, at a hotel in Russia, Charlie opens Sarah's final gift, a puzzle. He solves it, revealing a sweet hidden message from her. In the morning, Charlie heads to the port and notices a suspicious vehicle. He sends a coded message, then watches as a man near the car checks his phone. Following him, Charlie snaps pictures of the boat he boards and later traces its registration to a luxury yacht. He also maps out Horst's possible sea routes. The next day, while approaching the boat, someone knocks Charlie out. He drops Sarah's puzzle. When he wakes, he's on the yacht, face to face with Horst. Horst reveals he found the bomb Charlie previously planted and mocks him for never killing anyone directly. He hands Charlie a gun and dares him to shoot, but Charlie can't do it. He sets the gun down. Suddenly, the yacht changes direction. The crew panics. Charlie calmly explains he's taken control. The yacht runs on CIA security protocols, and since he helped design them, hacking it was easy. It's now headed for Finland. Soon, Finnish Navy ships and Interpol surround the vessel. Horst and his team are arrested. Later, Director O'Brien holds a press conference, revealing the takedown of corrupt CIA agents abusing agency resources. Henderson approaches Charlie afterward, expressing pride in what he's done. After visiting Sarah's grave, Charlie finally returns home and takes the plane she gave him for its first flight. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you.